This is
Make It Plain.
Make It Plain.
M.I.P.
With Marshello Talent Bookers.
Mark Thompson.
Make It Plain.
Get woke.
God bless you. Get woke. Get ready for impeachment. It's time for another podcast. We welcome you to Make It Plain, the podcast. Of course, we have a live daily show every day. We invite you to subscribe at makeitplain.com. But this is our podcast, available everywhere to everyone. I have a staff, and they help to book my guests. And I rarely screen guests to the extent people say, well, do you want this person or not? I usually accept all guests. Yeah. And Andrew, my producer, said that there was a documentary coming out about a poet. That's all he said. I said, okay. I mean, and again, I'm open. Documentary about a poet. And then, he was sharing some information with me, and I was like, okay, and I'm still. Then he finally says the name. I said, this ain't a poet. This is my friend. But no, he is. And we have known each other for years. At probably over 30 years. Because if we go back to the 80s, let's see, I was born in 1989. So, no, I'm just kidding. But so he's known me since I was a baby. No, I'm just kidding. He's known me since I was in my 20s. Yeah. You all have known him, not up close and personal like I have, but you all have known him historically as one of the last poets, that revolutionary group, which many consider to be the true pioneers of hip-hop, all right? But one of the last poets is here with us, and there's a documentary about his life and his journey that is out now, none other than Umar Bin Hassan. My brother, how are you?
Fine. Listen, man.
Good to see you, man.
It's good
You
to
look
see
great, too, man.
Man, yeah, I had to start looking great. I was getting a little, a bit out of shape and everything. But listen, I would like to tell all you listeners who listen to this show, who have been listening to the show, this young man next to me has always been in search of the truth. I mean, always. And he's always been very truthful and honest with a whole lot of us. That's what I liked about Mark. He was, he was open, and he didn't judge you for who you were or what education that you had. He always came out as somebody who could work with you and be part of what you do. And he's always been in search of the truth. And I also will tell you, he will tell you what you think you are and what you ain't. He'll tell you that right up front. So it's good to see when somebody said you're gonna be on Mark's show. I said, oh, no, not Mark. And then I saw his picture. I said, yeah, okay, I'm going down and hang out with my boy. Going down and hang out with boys. So I'm glad to be here today with your baby boy.
Well, and let me say this about you all. Getting to know you and Dune up close and personal. I mean, you all were like that, a shot of adrenaline to everything that we were doing, and we were together at the time. We went down in Washington, D.C. With Dick Gregory and Brother Bay. And we had a lot of movement going on.
We did.
There was a lot of demonstration and movement on the ground. We was calling shots. Something was going down. Hey, y'all, meet us on Capitol Hill. We about to bust a move.
Seriously.
And the poets were like, the soundtrack and the inspiration. That was, it was nothing like being able to do all that and have you all right there, especially considering, what you all have inspired over how many decades? When did the last poets first?
That's 50 years now. This is our 50th year.
It's been 50 years.
50 years in this business.
Wow.
50 years, man. And we've got some old friends like you, but then we've got a lot of little young friends now who help and follow us around. So we're happy to, still be, even though some of us have been through certain changes, including myself, but we're happy to be here, man. I'm happy to be here with you and to hang out with the brother, Mr. Mike Krause, who putting this together. So I'm okay. I'm okay, man.
So now let's focus on a key word for a moment. 50 years in this business. You still in business?
Yes, we are.
You all are still performing and touring?
Matter of fact, I got to get on the bus tomorrow to get out to Orlando to hang out with them because we have a gig in Orlando Saturday. So I got to be out here in the morning to catch that bus.
Yeah. No, it's a blessing to still be in business, isn't it?
It is. At this age and for 50 years, and people still calling on us and want to hear us, and we still. Matter of fact, we have a new album out on. It's called Toxic Americans. It's on Roper Dope Records. Look it out. Billboard gave it a good review. Okay. I think Rolling Stone.
Of course, it's a good review because you haven't put out anything bad ever.
we always tried to make what we did a hit or familiar to people's ears, or make them feel like we were close to them, or make them know that we were part of them, no matter what we were going through, who they were going through. We've always tried to hold that thing up. Well, you know, about family, about all of us are family. You know what I mean?
The only reason y'all didn't get the real burn that you might have deserved sometime was not because it was bad, but because niggas are
scared of revolution.
And more than niggas, the white man is too. I mean, putting y'all if y'all have been put on top.
It scared a whole lot of people.
Ooh.
It scared a whole lot of people. I mean, just where we were at, you know, that in the middle between the good and the bad, we still were scaring people.
Yeah.
Because the words, we were so young, but we were bringing images out of our mouths that totally mirrored and glossed on what was going on in America.
Yeah,
so, you know, like the white man's got a God complex, the mean machine, automatic push-button remote control, synthetics, genetics, command your foe. So Jalal wrote that poem some 50 years ago. And now what is happening? Automatic push-button remote control, synthetics, genetics, command your soul.
Command your soul.
You know?
That's right, that's right, that's right. New documentary about your life.
Ooh, yeah. That's this young brother whom I was just talking to on the phone, Daniel Cricky, he's from Amsterdam, and his mother, she wrote I'm part of the family now. His mother wrote a book called The Last Pause, and then next thing I know, he told me as a young boy at 14, I was leaving, I just left, because I'm like part of the family. I'm like part of the family. You know, I'm like part of the family. So as I was leaving a meeting with him about maybe 10 years ago, he said, Umar, I'm going to do a movie about you. And I said, yeah, okay. You know, I said, all right, okay. You know, he's a young boy. He's about 14 years old then. He said, Umar, I might write a movie about you. So I went back and I hugged him, and I guess, okay, and then I made my way to get to the plane. But then I thought, wait, Daniel's he's a Scorpio, and I'm a Scorpio. And when Scorpio say we're going to do something, we're going to do something. So 10 years later, he rolling up with his boys, his other boys who helped do this movie. Because we traveled throughout the Midwest in a hot summer, man, making this movie, man, where I lived. Thomas and Stein, his helpers. And it was deep, man, but like on that work together, them young white boys became like my brothers, man, because they were showing my life, you know, and they were carefully showing my life and putting it together. So I had to consider them. I mean, we went through some changes, you know, because you out there in the hot summer in the Midwest and filming, and people want you to do this and that. But we got it done.
Scared of Revolution is a documentary. When you say you were moving throughout the Midwest, you were back home in the Akron area. Yeah. And you were dropping in on some of your old people, right? Some of your partners and whatnot.
Yeah, and up in the Flint, Michigan area too, where I was living at the time. So we got it done, man. We got it done.
No, it's amazing. Isn't it interesting how ultimately we all end up in the same place?
But that's what I'm saying.
And the people who would demonize folk like y'all, I mean, y'all were a threat to the status quo. What this documentary does, though, is show we all the same. We all are human. And we just seeking that truth and trying to make it.
And trying to treat other human beings like they want to be treated too. You know what I'm saying? That's all. Right. You know, so you here with your mic doing the same thing, showing human beings how human you are, and trying to elicit some type of humanity from them. So we can always say, yeah, what is this? It's a big party. Let's have a big party. Why are we still going through all this hatred and stupidity and silliness? Even though there's some of us who want to do that on both sides, you know. But like, you know, this is America, man. And we all are Americans. I mean, I can't say I'm not American. Everywhere I go, I always wind up coming back here. I'm an American. Yeah. You know, so I don't let nobody tell me I'm not. But I always wanted the country to be better than it is, and it can be better than it is. And I was just talking to Mike about how the young kids, I think they're trying to make this better because they're tired of the racism and the pettiness. They're really tired of it. Yeah. You know?
This documentary goes into your personal story. Yes. And some of the challenges you had. Yeah. It was a real challenge, your relationship with your dad, wasn't it?
Oh, it was a real challenge, man. I decided to kill my father at one time. I decided to kill my father because he was bringing so far. And he was a hell of a musician, man. I mean, some of the bands would come in, like Count Basie or Ellington, they would go get me Sonny Hewlett, go get me. Everybody knew he could play that trumpet, but it was the problem. My grandmother was always beating him down and telling him, "Oh, you're a musician," and you know, when your mother constantly beating you down, that don't help. None, you know, when you especially need some love from her and some inspiration. So he would come back and take, you know, that terror out on us, man, and especially my mother. And so I had made a decision to kill him. I really did. I went out and got a hatchet from this little sporting store called Western Auto, you know, a little hatchet. And I showed my mother. I said, "Mama, you come back here, he'll hurt you. I'm going after you." She said, "Oh boy, you ain't gonna do that. You ain't gonna do that." But then he came back one night and busted it again. Told me, "Oh, this is my house. Ain't paying a nickel rent." And busted and went up and started beating up my mother. And I had to hatchet. And I was getting ready to come down on him. My mother grabbed it out of my hand and ran upstairs. And he ran upstairs and beat her up again. So, and the thing was that he, like I say, he was a brilliant musician. Reading, he taught music, man. But he was just so frustrated by his own mother was constantly beating him up, and he would take it out on us, man.
How did that? So after that incident with the hatchet, what was the relationship like?
Well, he saw it, and he knew that I had it, so it like he kind of stayed away. But then, for about one time,
how old were you then?
I was 11 years old at that time.
Wow, 11 years old.
I was 11 years old, man.
Pulling a weapon on your dad.
Yes, I did. Yes, I did. I was 11 years old, man, because I just constantly got tired of sitting and beating up on my mother and terrorizing us, man. You know, because you were supposed to be somebody we were looking for love, and me constantly getting terrorized and threatened. And
how many siblings did you have?
There was 9 of us, 8 of us.
Okay.
In the projects in Akron, Ohio.
Wow.
So, but we made it out because we stood together. We had our mother, you know, to help us in the end. You know, we always had her. You know, my mother, I don't know what she. Well, you know, she's a black woman. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You can't give too many things too much nice about them because they do the job that they've been doing ever since we came over here from Africa, trying to protect us and love us and help us get forward. So my mother was it, still is, man, still is.
Again, the hatchet. You were 11.
Yeah.
Did your mother ever eventually leave your father?
Yeah, she did. She eventually left him. Yeah.
Okay.
She had to, you know.
Right.
Because she couldn't go through all that the rest of her life. Well, he actually had what happened, let me tell you, because at 13, he came and broke in again. But this time I was mad because I started working out because I was running track and playing football in junior high school. And, you know, I had some weight on me. And he came in, and this time he came, he grabbed the bat, and he swung on me. But I grabbed the bat just with my hand and held on to it. And he could see he couldn't move because I held him. And I just pushed him, and he left. And I never saw him again for maybe like 15, 20 years after that.
Is that right?
Yeah.
You knew you were a man.
He did. And he showed that respect, and he left. He left the house, man.
How did your relationship with your dad shape you? Well, first of all, you said he was a hell of a musician.
Yeah.
So was there any musical influence that you got from him after all?
Well, you know, at one time I was taking trumpet lessons in the 3rd grade because he gave me one of his trumpets. And then I was taking trumpet. He was trying to show me how to play trumpet. He taught me about all the, you know, different notes, the blue note, the flat and fifth. He taught me all that, you know. So, and everybody said when they do it, finally he was a musician. Well, Mom, you're a musician because sometimes your poetry, you sound like a musician when you do your poetry. So that's probably him coming out of me. You know, that sense of musicality. That's probably him coming out of me when I'm on stage. I'm quite sure it is, you know.
How did that relationship with him affect your other relationships?
Well, everybody knew what was going on in the house, but it was cool. All my friends knew, and they understood, and they just told me, just don't take it too far, Mom. Don't, you know, go too far. I'll just try to understand the changes that he's going through and try to give him a little play, understand that too. And I did, because I realized that my grandmother was just beating him down, always beating him. And she started laying after me. She beat my grandfather down too, and my father. And so they had quit. So I had to.
Grandmama sounded like she was a trip.
She was.
What was up with her, man?
I don't know what. She grew up in Alabama, and I always thought, I don't know what happened to my grandmother in Alabama. I don't know. Maybe something, she was assaulted by some men or some white people. But to just take it out on her, the men who were around her, wanted love from her, wanted to give her love, she couldn't do it.
Wow.
Man. She couldn't do it.
Wow.
And you know, and this is not just my story. There's other stories probably like this too. You know, because you being black and growing up and in America wasn't easy for us, man. You know, especially those who didn't have no father in the house. You know?
Now, you had children. Did you have children?
Yeah, I got. Oh, yeah, I got children.
I'm sorry.
man.
We won't go on the record. I won't ask about no numbers or nothing.
Yeah, I
But
got children.
what was as a result? Because sometimes we have these relationships with our parents and
Yeah.
grandparents, then it manifests in our relationships, even though we try for it not to.
Yeah.
How did that impact your relationship with your children?
But I've always loved my children. I always took care of them.
Because you didn't want to be like your father.
No, I didn't want to be like
That's
my
right.
father.
That's
But
right.
then the thing came down with the drugs, though, and I separated myself from them for a while. And that really hurt them, and it hurt me too. But then I made my way back to them. That's what made me want to, get all this stuff out of me and the demons and put them to sleep. Because I wanted to get back to my children. I didn't want to leave them out there like that, like I was left out there like that. And there's a whole lot of brothers like me. You know who that is. Some of us want to get back to our children. We may take a moment break, but we realize what the most important thing was of our children, what we leaving them, what we giving them. Because I didn't want my children to see, well, daddy was a drug addict and he died on drugs and he couldn't have that. So I had to come back and clean myself up and put them demons to sleep to be with them. So I'm happy where I am with my children now.
It's interesting what you just said. Daddy was a drug addict. Is that what you heard in your head that made you want to do something?
No, you know what made me want to do something? It's like, in order to protect my family, because I became the father of the family, like going out and making sure we had something to eat when there wasn't no food in the house, and taking care of and watching out for my sisters. I know my sisters used to get mad at me and tell my mother, "I'm tired of you, Mama, I'm tired of you. Man, you act like your daddy. You act like your daddy." But I was daddy because none of my sisters got pregnant until after I left Akron, Ohio.
Were you the oldest?
Yeah, I was
okay.
oldest.
So
I was
so you
second
looked out for
oldest.
them.
So I had to look out for all that, man. I had to look out for them, and it took a lot out of me sometimes because I given up so much to everything else. So this with drug things was like, that's what was making me like, hey, okay, well here I'm doing something for everybody else. Let me do something for myself. And then that niggerness in me, that nigger that who I was, that the drugs helped that made me become more of a nigga. I could be a nigga when it was necessary, I couldn't. Everybody knew that, my friends and my enemies, So, and I was just saying, let me tell you this, about 10 years ago, I realized even though I've been out talking about niggas, I had to admit to myself the nigga that I was inside of me, the nigga that I was carrying around with me. I had to see, because all my friends and that, my ex-wives, girls, you're a nigga, Umar. You know how much of a nigga you are. And I was a nigga, and I had to start, in order to, and as a matter of fact, when I started killing the nigga, that's when I started killing those drug demons and jinns. Because they were both connected. They were so connected, it was deep. See, because it was the drugs and the alcohol that fired up the demons and jinns. To make sure I'm taking care of my business, to make sure I'm keeping people out of my family, to make sure I'm keeping niggas away from me. So when I started going into myself and changing myself and getting that nigga out of me, that's when I started getting control of the demons too.
So for those who may be listening and still aren't clear about what you're saying when you say there was a nigga in you.
Yeah.
And you had to get the nigga out of you. Somebody might be saying, well, what does he mean by that? Because somebody listening might have some nigga in them and don't know it.
No, don't know it.
So what is that nigga? Who is that person that we ought to recognize and want to get out of us?
Well, one who can be very selfish, but can act like he's still sharing and he caring, but really selfish inside and start just looking out for himself when he can look out for himself. But he'll give you a little tidbits of he's humane and he's caring for other people, but basically he's a selfish person. And he finds things to ensure and to make that selfishness strong, which was the drugs. Keep me into my niggerness, to make me more of a nigga than I should be,
How old were you when the drugs started?
Oh, man, I was about, when it really started, about 30, man, when I started messing with them.
And the poets had already started, right?
Yeah, the poets were already, so I was doing this when I was on gigs and stuff, man,
How were you when the poets started?
I was 20 years old when I first came here from Ohio, because what happened was I had seen the last poets. Matter of fact, I had just come out the streets hustling, and it was at Antioch College, and they were doing a black festival there. And Abiel Dune and Garland Kane and Felipe was a group at that time. And when I saw them do what they did with poetry, some said, okay, I want to get out of it, because I've been getting to scribble and write a little poetry myself. But I want to go to New York and do what they did. And somehow I found my way to New York, and Abby O'Doon was the only one left. Guyland Kane, the Crit, Felipe left, and Abby O'Doon was the only one still left. So he hooked me up and got me started in this thing. You know, we got together, and we found this drummer that we needed by the name of Don Babatunde. We both knew him, and so that's how me and him, you know, and Don and Babatunde. But now the original group, now the one who made the 2 albums, Niggas Cut Revolution and This Is Matter, was me, Jalal, who wrote Jones Coming Down, and you know, on the subways, and him, and Elijah was the original conga player. But then when they quit the group and left, and so the group has been through some changes, man. It has been through some changes.
Yes,
But me and Doon came together, and for the last 30 years with Opportunity, we tried to put it with what we had, put it back out there on notice, you know.
So 50 years of The Last Poets, and of course the documentary Scared of Revolution is out now, and we want people to see it. How would you define the Last Poets' influence on hip hop?
Oh, very much so, man.
In the very creation of
yeah,
it.
because you know, when we were dealing with the record industry at the time, here's a bunch of black young men who just with a drum and voices and selling millions of records. We were selling millions of records back then, man. So you know, some of those record people began to look, well, if we could just jive this up a little bit and make it sound a little hip and put some music to it, this could be a real big thing. So you know, that's the thing we know. There was coming out, you know, young rappers with music and behind them and rapping and carrying on. And you know the thing about that though, we've never hated them. We've never been begrudged against them because we were glad they were doing that.
Right,
I mean,
right.
we just, I mean, we wish that we had been able to make the money that they're making, you know, but we didn't. But we never hated them, man. A lot of them began to know who we were. A lot of them we made friends with and became young sugars of us, man. So I ain't never hated none of the brothers, Jay-Z or none of them, man, for doing what they done because we know that it all came back to us. We have that validation that it always came back to us.
So some of them became surrogates of yours. Like, give us some examples. Who were some of the ones that sat at your feet?
Public Enemy.
Right.
They've always let us know.
And that's one of the most revolutionary ones, so that makes sense.
I was just with Professor Griff last week. And,
is that right?
Yeah, in Pittsburgh. Professor Griff was there. And then, of course, we met Jay-Z, and we've talked to a lot of other young rappers who've come and talked to us and shared with us. But there's some of us who just almost seem like our sons, and man, we hung out with them, and they, you know, smoked up with them, and they said, "Yeah, man, y'all are cats. We know y'all are cats," you know, and we appreciate that.
Then there developed after PE this element of quote unquote gangster rap, and then a whole nother genre that was rather pornographic.
We've never been into that. We've never been into game. We never.
No, you haven't.
We never thought that was valid to us, man. That was just something the record industry created to make more money. That's what we thought.
And well, frankly, I think also to undermine the messages you all were putting out there, to dumb down the masses.
But they couldn't do it though. They couldn't do it because here we are, a whole lot of young people now looking toward us, not just black children, but a whole lot of white kids are into the Last Poets.
You know, I was at the press conference yesterday with Jay-Z and the NFL.
Oh yeah, Jay-Z is that boy moving, ain't he?
Yeah, but the thing is, they're coming together and they want to use, the NFL wants to use music and musicians to try to deal with the issues of social justice. The cap raise.
Yeah.
But I'm like, if y'all really want to do that with music, you need acts like the Last Poets.
Yeah, but they're not gonna come in because some of them probably.
They need to let the Last Poets perform at the Super Bowl.
I know, because some of them.
You want me to tell them to do that?
Listen, yeah, but we would do that. We could do a poem for America. You understand? But because we there now, but we know there's still a lot of people out there who still, the Last Poets. If we deal with them, what is gonna happen? Because I mean, I gotta give Mike credit to understand. Well, he's gonna take this on and try to move it his way because he didn't have to do it. He knowing who we were, knowing our situation, but he's done it. He said, okay, I'll take it. Because he said he got a friend who who heard it when it was first done in Amsterdam. That's where it first came out. It's big, the largest poetry festival in the world came out in Amsterdam. I was just talking to the young boy who did it in Amsterdam. I'm going to meet with him later. He's here now in town, Daniel Cricket. So man, listen, to be here now alive and sitting up talking with you, do you know how much of a pleasure it is here to see how both of us have graduated and moved into who we were supposed to be? Because we were just young men there, man. We were running around hoping that we could really make some changes. And in certain parts, in certain places, we did. Yeah. So here we are. You got a TV station, and I'm still going all around the country, doing what I'm supposed to be doing.
Yes, sir.
So I'm blessed, and I thank God for that, and the ancestors, because they had to have a part in this.
Oh yeah.
They had to have that.
Oh,
part
they had
it,
that. Yeah. Well, somebody said today. It was there. I was looking on a website. And it was really because we're around the time of Marcus Garvey's birthday, and the other day was the August 13th, 1920 was when Marcus Garvey introduced the red, black, and green flag. Yeah. And somebody had as his handle on his social media that Marcus Garvey built the first website, but he just used his hands. So, I like that. Our ancestors.
I heard that. Yeah, I heard about that.
Harriet Tubman was the last poet, but she did it through you. You know what I mean?
And we understand that too. And just like the musicians in the 50s who influenced the world with a whole different sound, we're their children. Like Bird, we're Bob. We're part of Bob.
Yeah.
Bird and Miles and Dizzy, we're part of that. So the movement and the music and the understanding of who we are as a people, it's still moving. Now there's going to be some young kids, and I've met some of them who are going to come after us, who are going to keep this old tradition of, who we are as a people, our poetic expressions of survivors and all our ancestors who have kept us in place to do this, man. So it's coming. You doing that, but just been on this.
One of the Scared Revolution in the film, Dune, talking about his brother Abiodun Dune, another one of the last poets and one of the original members, said you were scared of revolution.
Yeah, I know. That's when he said, why Umar ain't, because he was scared of revolution. And there probably times I was scared of revolution.
Really?
Probably times I was scared of revolution. Probably the times that when I started dealing with the drugs, that my fears had me going to other things that I shouldn't have been dealing with, because maybe I had given out so much as a young boy to protect the family and look out for a family, that now I need something to protect and look out for me, and I thought it was the drugs,
Ladies and gentlemen, this podcast will live on timelessly, but in the immediate, the film, the documentary, Scared of Revolution, the untold story of the Godfather of Rap, Umar Bin Hassan, will be here in New York, August 16th, at the Maysles Documentary Center. And I'm sure after it's run here in New York, it's going to be in other cities, and then ultimately, I hope, available everywhere. Y'all talking about Netflix and that kind of stuff? You talking to those people?
Streaming, DVD.
Yeah, all of that. So, because this is a story that needs to be heard and needs to be told, and it is such an honor to see you. Now, I understand you gonna do a little something for us?
Yeah, I'll do.
Because we can handle that. We ready. Umar Bin Hassan, the Godfather of
Time in becomes time out. Group anxieties become personal doubt. Expressing ourselves in dots and dashes, pure cocaine and false eyelashes. Living inside words that seem to lie. Living inside excuses that makes us cry. Living inside tomorrow makes us die. Time in becomes time out. Group anxieties become personal doubt. Expressing ourselves in dots and dashes, pure cocaine and false eyelashes. Living inside words that seem to lie. Living inside words that get us high. Living in tomorrow makes us die. Let me see, I'll try this one. The media has been alerted to the brave new world with action-packed comedies full of Navy SEALs and dirty blinds. Welcome to the revolution where ex-CIA madmen go AWOL in children's cartoons. No deposits, no return. A sickness prevails in the land. The keepers of the watch are finding the children. Youthful madness chasing games around the fire. Malt liquor grins dripping with the sacrifice of innocence. The blood in their eyes smiles so defiantly at their wounds, teasing and following laughter to its death, dancing in the joys of casual violence and polite discussions of their senseless act, screaming songs of big time and champagne into the dreams of open sores that lurk and scheme in the cellars of clouds of smoke, begging for slow rides and silent ambulances to well-stocked morgues where rhythm and blues oozes out to muted loudspeakers. Wholesale genocide at discount prices. America, love it or leave it. Bloated egos with small minds, baptizing murder in the name of God and everything we hold sacred. Mickey Mouse, Donald Duck. Mickey Mouse, Donald Duck. Forever let us wave our banners high, 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 sitting here in the midst of falling leaves, overwhelmed by this symphony of freedom, letting go of others who want to claim all of this as their own. A rat makes his presence known, keeping all things real, screeching and scurrying to nowhere fast, trapped in its own greed and grandiose visions of self-destruction. America, love it or leave it. Bloated egos with small minds, baptizing murder in the name of God and everything we sacred. Mickey Mouse, Donald Duck, Mickey Mouse, Donald Duck, forever let us wave our banners high, high, high.
The Godfather of hip-hop and rap, Umar Bin Hassan, our very special guest here on our Make It Plain podcast. And my friend, it's been too long, man.
Hey, listen, well, it's good that we're still here to be able to do this. Right?
Yeah, we
both
reconnected. This is a blessing. We come back together.
Yeah, it is.
All right, folks, Scared of Revolution, check out the documentary and look for it in your city, and then look for it everywhere.
And keep tuning in to this brother here. He will give you the truth, I'm telling you. He will tell you if you don't like what you're saying or what you're doing. He'll let you know about it. So, and we need people like that in America right now. So this is a special little show, and you got a very special man sitting here next to me.
Thank you. Thank you, Umar Bin Hassan. All right, folks, don't forget to subscribe to the live daily show at makeitplain.com. If all minds are clear, it has been